If you've been on campus recently, you have most likely noticed the trees turning. Currently, Columbus is in a record-breaking drought for the first time in decades. However, there is more to a drought than changing leaves and dry grass.
So a drought, in its most basic definition, is basically a place or an event where there's less precipitation or a lesser than normal amount of precipitation that causes various impacts. These impacts can escalate from just a lack of precip and such, all the way up to hydrological impacts where water supplies get low, agricultural impacts where crops are damaged or destroyed, and then even more significant ecological and socioeconomic impacts.
If you are in a certain area where perhaps you have access to water or you're less concerned about your monthly bills, then you may not be feeling this as much as other populations. But when you're talking about social determinants of health, we know that asthma can be increased. We know that that can lead to even mental health concerns, that can lead to missing work, missing school. There are a lot of consequences from weather-related issues on people every day.
Despite the negative impacts to come, there are still things that the Columbus community can do to combat the drought.
We should all be thinking about water conservation right now. We want to limit those resources, our use of those resources. And so think, how can you shorten maybe your shower and bathing time just a little bit? Do you really need to water the lawn every single day? Can you scale back on that? Adhere to all the burn bans that the fire marshal has set place across the state. That's really important because the more we conserve, the longer this drought goes on, the less likely we are to run out of those resources. So fire prevention and water conservation are two key things that every citizen can do with this ongoing drought.
So right now, the city of Columbus is not instituting any kind of watering restrictions at this point, but it is always good to know voluntary things that you can do. So there are things that you can do all of the time anyway to help our whole community. We're hoping for rain in the spring. If we don't get rain and this drought continues or worsens, that's when we'll need to talk about some restrictions, but we're not at that point right now.
This is Lena Henicle for The Lantern.